can turn to it right there. And it seems like this one is going to be pushed through. You look at the front page of the People Daily and you see President telling off his deputies' allies. What does that say for the state of the executive and the government, even moving forward, with an initiative that they should be all on the same page on?
You know, first we expect, you know, we have one government,
Right.
The president and the deputy president, and now thanks to the handshake, we have handshake,
Right.
which brought political stability and good working relationship.
We have the people's president.
People's president, Baba.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but thanks to Right Honorable Prime Minister and His Excellency the President, we now enjoy, you know, the handshake. I think for me, what he meant, of course, I also agree with him. The BBI report will going to sail through because we saw there's a public participation. You know, the committee went the entire 47 county, getting the views of the people. And I remember they came to my county and we also gave our views. So I think constitutionally they are on the right track. And for the president, he told us yesterday, I want to see a united Kenya. I don't want us to go back from where we were. You know, he doesn't want to see a bloodshed again. He doesn't want to see people killed. And the reason why we always have this violence is because of, you know, this competition at the top. Right. And that is the presidency. So I think let's wait. For me, we say let's wait. We don't know yet what the BBI report is really recommending. Let us see, and I hope, you know, having somebody like Senator Haji there, you know, and those eminent and committees there, I don't think they are there to mislead Kenyans. They will just give us exact views of the people. Okay. And for me, I think that is what we will support when we have the BBI.
Okay. There's 2 points you've raised there, even as you wind up on this particular story, constitutionality of the team BBI and the unity as well. Let me come to Mr. Nyoka on this, because the Third Way Alliance is actually taking a constitutional petition on the BBI. And they're taking it so far as that they want the team to refund the money they've used so far, saying the team is unconstitutional. Where does this task force stand in terms of that particular petition?
Jeff, as I comment on that, let me have a real quick statement on what Honorable Gedi has mentioned. Something very disturbing. She's a sitting member of parliament. She has said that the BBI will sail through. Now, realize up to this point, we do not have a report. Already that, if I were to go by her views and say that is the way the parliament is going to look at it, they are ready to pass the report that we don't know the content. They're ready to, whether it is going to be good or bad is our problem, them they are ready to support it. And they will go, and that is why I had a problem even with Punguza Mzigo. I did mention at one point that Punguza Mzigo, the county assemblies will not look at the content. It doesn't matter whether it is good or bad. They are simply going to listen to their, you know, paymasters and their political leaders and say, if Jubilee says don't pass it, it wouldn't matter. They will not exercise their independent thought. So this is really a worrying trend. I could have loved to know that our parliamentarians are able to confirm that let us wait. It does not matter who was in that panel. Probably it was in the right panel, but he has this instruction elsewhere because we have a problem, probably to tie into your question. I have said before that there is a problem in the manner in which the committee was constituted. We have had previous constitutional, you know, amendments or constitutional, you know, creations, and we have had procedures, legal channels through which a team is created to ensure that there's diversity, to ensure that every stakeholder is involved, and as much as possible, this is transparency. But what do we have in BBI? I could easily mention and say that they are friends to Raila and
you feel that was a criteria to
yes,
get into the task force?
Yes, there was no platform. There was no legal structure that was in place to create this particular institution. They could as well be really trying to even ensure that whatever their leaders wanted is what we will have in that report. And it's not something that is strange. We've seen, if I have been appointed by Jakoyo Midiwo to head a team, I am likely not to get views in the report that will not please him. I'm more likely to ensure that the report is more friendlier to the person who appointed me. So we don't have a legal structure through which this was created. And probably that is the question that we'll say, that if the process started wrongly, then you cannot legitimize it as you go along and say, that there's been a constitutional process that has been followed properly.
Right.
That becomes a question that probably the courts will have to look at. I am not sure what the Third Way Alliance wants to, what their content of their petition will be like, but one thing for sure is that the composition of the team that led the BBI program was not legally put in place, constitutionally so, or legally through a process that we all know as it is meant to be.
Honorable Getty, do you want a rebuttal on that particular point?
Yeah, of course. He said friends of the president, and I don't know does he want the president to appoint, because it is the president who appointed and did the gazettement, and I think it's not about friendship. It's about collecting the views of the people. This BBI committee had the opportunity to go round, and it is not must, and no one will force them to bring a report that favors a certain quota. You see, it's a public views. For me, when they came to my county, people even said, we want to scrap some positions, you see, and I know they were not going to leave those views outside.
But I think also what he was raising, Honorable Getty, is the fact that even before they went round, how they were put together was a question.
It was okay. How they were put together, it was okay. Why do we have them first? We have them as the result of the post-election violence. We have as the result of the country was divided. We have them because of the handshake. When the two principals came together, they sat and they reviewed and went back to why are we having all this? And they came up with 9 points. That 9 points led to the formation of this committee. We have to first check why were they formed? Okay. What was the reason? Okay. The reason is because from where we came from. Okay,
let's talk about that as well, and talk about the fact that if it was for unity, Midiwo, I want to bring you in also on that particular point of unity. We have Raila Odinga talking about the fact that this is for unity. We have the president saying the same thing, and that the reason why we have this division is because the winner takes all at the top. But you have two by-elections coming up. We have one now in the coast. We have one in Kibera. But you can see even in these small elections, in the by-elections in these particular areas, there's still chaos. We've seen what Mariga's car was stoned. Aisha Juma has been arrested for a shooting. Are we actually looking elsewhere? Because it seems like bigger than the handshake right now.
That is why, for those of us who support the handshake, we hoped at the end of it, at the very least, we should sort out two things. The winner-take-all issue and the mode of elections. And why can't we just go the South African way? You saw Zuma and the current president of South Africa, who ousted Zuma.
Ramaphosa.
Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa, he became president in a boardroom. The one before him became president in a boardroom. Mandela became president in a boardroom. Yeah. And they don't kill each other after elections. And they are 3 hours away from us on one of our usual KQ jets. We are there. Why can't we learn from them? Why is it possible not to, if we want to achieve the 1/3 gender rule, we want to achieve peace, we want to achieve non-winner-take-all philosophy, why is South Africa too far away from us? Copy from best practice. And I hope BBI would attempt to go that direction, so that when you say we are, why can't we? Yes, we can.
When you say that, do you mean going the parliamentary system in terms of getting the presidency, or what mechanism?
It still leads you to parliamentary system, but the mode of election must be different. Let us give power to political parties. Let us give power to parliament. You know, part of the problem which you are seeing, these things you're seeing, UK, my friend is saying about I am not interested and I am not interested and all. It should not be up to him. His party should be the one dictating how, if it should be interested in politics. If he works well, but he has done nothing to Kenyans. That is the truth. Parliamentary system is a step lower than mode of electioneering. This one is not working for us. I can tell you I'm not a member of parliament, but people tell me, oh, we want you, we want you. But you know what they're saying? They're saying, prepare yourself with money.
Yeah.
It should not be like that.
Yeah.
Even if I had money, I should donate it publicly to my political party to make structures good. We have a scenario where political parties are corrupt. The government is corrupt. The civil servants are corrupt. Except, even the Bible says, you shall never be saved if you don't accept you are a sinner. It is just that simple. So I want to plead with my brother here to understand that the scenario we are faced with is bigger than the one of a common mind. It requires many common minds. And this parliament, Fatima,
Yes.
you guys just say, please, let us do a scenario where minorities shall be recognized, where majorities shall also be heard and recognized, and we have a country where politics is not employment, politics is public service. You know, when you see politicians behave, like when you see, you know, we are talking on the story of what the things the president was saying yesterday. The president goes somewhere and says, a road shall pass here. You parliamentarians, you have not talked about that road so we can see what it can bring to us. The SGR is a noble project if you think of it with ordinary mind. But extraordinary minds will tell you that you cannot build SGR away from the railway towns. Whether they are Miritini, whether they are Voi, whether they are Koru, but what they're doing, they're moving it away just to make money from sale of land. Then, what are we faced with? Let me ask you, what is in Nairobi, what is in Syokimau that can be ferried to Naivasha or Suswa? You understand? And I uploaded this other one because this one offloads traffic. But at what point do you imagine as a leader that you can have anything of value from Syokimau to Suswa or Naivasha? What are we doing as a people?
Honorable, I want to also push back on that particular one and talk about probably we need to go the South African way, take it to a boardroom, or probably have a hybrid with a parliamentary system, because public sentiment is that of, they look at the House right now and it doesn't feel like it actually speaks to their issues. We've seen several times when they should do something. Yes. When the VAT bill came in and they're like, okay, fine, my member of parliament should go and do something about this. They weren't there, they walked out. We've seen the reports that come in, people going to toilets to get the speakers in the toilet to see where the bribe was given.
Even the sugar one.
The sugar report as well.
The sugar report.
Yeah, so when you see that they're the ones who are to decide.
But what are the chances that ODM or URP or, you know, those constructions, what are the chances, Jeff, that they will have free and fair elections? So why can't you just give dictatorial powers in law so that if I want, I will go as an independent and go and win like I did and won. They still stole from me. So get the courts away from the political system. Keep the courts away. Give the political parties, let them choose, even if you want your wife, your grandson or anything, just choose your person. But watu wakutane kwa debe.
Okay, let's take a brief pause on that, even before you respond, because I know there's something you want to say on that. We also have some footage right now, because we're talking about a by-election supposed to happen today. Aisha Juma is in police custody. We know if she gets bail today. We have some footage concerning that particular incident and what some politicians had to say about this. We'll play that right now and get back to this debate.
As we express our condolences to the people who have lost loved ones in Kibra and the one person who lost his life yesterday in Malindi. We want to condemn in the strongest terms possible the escalation of violence, more so electoral violence in this country. But it's also clear who the owners and perpetrators of electoral violence in this country are. And the script is as it were in 2007, as it were in 2013, as it were in 2017, to demonize institutions like IEBC. And we want to ask the Inspector General of Police, please stop being selective in the application of the rule of law. Those who break the law, whether in Kibra or any other part of this country, apply the law without being selective. You saw over the weekend the former member of parliament for Mbakasi, Sumra, calling for people to be banned. You saw others asking others to wear attire and be lynched in Kibra. You saw the attack on Mariga's cars on Saturday. On Sunday, the same gang attempted to attack us inside a church.
Na pia nataka kulani kitendo cha kushikwa Aisha Jumwa pale Malindi. Ni vurugu nyingi tumeona zikitokea wakati wa kampeni. Tumeziona pale Kibra na tumeziona sehemu nyingi na hatujaona wahusika wakiwekwa ndani. Kwa hivyo tunataka kukemea kitendo cha Aisha kuwekwa ndani kwa lile tukio la jana. Tunajua vizuri kwamba Aisha Jumwa hana bunduki wala hana lisensi ya kuwa na bunduki. Kwa hivyo si yeye kwamba alishoot huyo jamaa. Na tunashangaa sana, na kama kina mama wa Kenya tunasema kwani kwa sababu yeye ni mwanamke ndiyo maana yeye amekimbiliwa kuwekwa ndani.
We apologize for the video quality on that particular clip that we've played, but that was some of the sentiments upon Aisha Jumwa's arrest. And we'll talk about this because we're talking about the fact that the front page with the president and former PM Raila Odinga wanting unity in terms of the BBI, but as the social media hashtag says, vitu kwa ground ni different. Because they're looking at it from the sense that their own lieutenants aren't following the spirit of what they're saying this BBI is all about, Mr. Nyoka.
I think almost the entire country agrees that the handshake was the best thing that happened at the time it happened. We needed it. And it brought the political temperatures down. Kenyans felt they now belonged. The discussions that even people had started having that they want to secede. At one point, I come from Western Kenya, there were these jokes that the border should be somewhere so that I will get a passport to come to Nairobi. That feeling went down and people tried to feel like politically they belong to the same setup, which was a good thing. The challenge that arose immediately after that is that the two political leaders did not have a structured system. They would have used the goodwill to ensure that they can now rally the institution that is mandated to set up the laws parliament to legislate on a process that could be able to make everyone feel involved, feel part of the process. We have a clear structure on who will be a member of this and what will happen with it. So I think that was the problem going forward. So that the political solution which was reached by way of a handshake should not have continued as a political discussion going forward. They should have proceeded to a legal process that should be able to deliver whatever it is that needs to deliver. Now, that takes me to what my brother Jakoyo had just mentioned. You know, Jakoyo was in court last time suing ODM because he felt that the nomination was not right. He actually, I am not sure whether he finished the case. I didn't follow it much. But he was seeking to be given back his money, but he participated in the nomination. That tells you that if we were to go to a system where we have a political, and I want to just mention to what he said, we have a system where we leave political parties to run their game the way they can and move courts out of it, then we'll have chaos. In the sense that we will have a fully dictatorial process that does not have a remedy if you feel you can't resolve it. And we will have moved the arbitration process or the dispute arbitral powers from a court of law, which is a very dependent institution, to nowhere. That Kenyans have to examine why they need that. And remember that when the political parties will do what they need to do, these people will come out to legislate and pass policies on behalf of all Kenyans. We will not say, no, Jakoyo, you were brought in by ODM. We don't want you to do this, because legally it would mean he will have the powers and the privileges, the rights to do what he needs to do as a policymaker at that stage. So what we really need is level-headed Kenyans who will be willing to live with the few principles that we have in our constitution. I have said before, if the constitution of Kenya today was to be implemented faithfully, even halfway down the line, I think Kenya will be a much better place. But that does not happen. What we see is that people want to simply do what benefits them at that point in time. If politically I will say anything and I will get credit out of it, or my political leaders will see me on TV, and I'm really castigating ODM or NASA or Jubilee, whether I'm saying illegal and reasonable statements, it won't matter to me. I'll say I'll have the protection, which is not being level-headed as a person, as a leader. So what we need, even if we were to change all the constitutions and said before, even if we were to tell God, give us the constitution you use in heaven, we apply it in Kenya, we will not go anywhere as long as we have the same thinking of our leaders going forward.
Is there something you've mentioned there in terms of institutions? We have 2 minutes before we go to our second break, so we'll have both Honorable Gedi and Honorable Midiwo touch on this, because we're talking about the fact that the reason why Aisha Jumwa is in police custody right now is because she stormed Reuben Katana's home because she felt that there was still campaigning going on after the period had ended. We have institutions like the IBC that are supposed to step in this particular scenario. Are we looking at the fact that even our own politicians don't have faith in the IBC and are literally taking matters into their own hands?
First, before I come to that, I want to support Mheshimiwa Jakoyo's way of thinking on the parliamentary in South African way, and also strengthening political parties. When we, as Embrace, when we give our views, we proposed mixed member proportional. And that one actually what it will do, it will strengthen the party. It will also, bring harmony and unity on the ground, because it is true now, it is all about money. It's expensive to go to elections. I think that one, it will sort a lot of things. This one of Aisha Jumwa. First, I'm really disappointed to see female members of parliament defending Honorable Aisha Jumwa when they know the man, the Kantana who was killed, he left a widow and children. And this matter is under investigations now. I think it's good we just leave it at that, because you can't defend and you don't even know whether she was the one who killed or it was her boyfriend. And on this, Aisha Jumwa stormed a meeting. For me, that is a trespass. It was wrong, because the way the witnesses and the leaders on the ground said there was an urgent training going on. If it was outside Reuben's home, we could have a different story today. But storming somebody's house, you're going with goons. And then, we saw a video, a clip that was going around. Aisha Jumwa went with goons to disrupt a meeting. And before that, we were told she sent some police there. When they went there, they confirmed it was a training of agent that was going on. So they decided to cover and give security to that. So why will you go and storm and, kill an innocent life? For me, that one was wrong. But the hypocrisy with the Jubilee, not Jubilee, but some section of Jubilee MPs to come out and defend things that, we don't even know what really, and the police is investigating, was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable Midiwo, even as we go into the break at this particular point, we have the IBC, we have the NCIC, who should be calling in. When utterances are made, they should be the first to react. Our institutions are lacking the teeth to move forward in that particular regard.
Our systems have failed. And Aisha, who is my friend, is rogue. I called Nyoro, Didi Nyoro here, that he was a rogue MP. Aisha is rogue. You don't do such things, and you get away with so much, maybe because you think you are a tough woman. But you know, the 40th day is always here. You know, human life is sacrosanct. You do not play around with the dignity of life. And I think she was shooting, you know, above the hip. Yeah. It's not nice. I have seen a video last night where somebody said he was a witness.
Yeah.
Said Aisha grabbed a gun. If it went awry, that would be fine, but you apologize. You say, I've committed a crime. This is how it's supposed to be. But when you say, when you go the way they are going, I see my friend Ichungwa. Is he talking as chairman of budget? Or what is he talking as? Because this is a political process which is in law. Right. When you compare it with somebody who jumped, I don't know from where, in Kibra, and those things, really, ODM could be equally rogue, but in this one, Aisha was rogue, if there's such an English word.
And when you talk about that, who's, even that's last comment was going to the break, then with these rogue elements you have on both sides of the divide, who reins them in?
That is why we need to change the political process, the electioneering process. This one is not working. This one is not working. I mean, we have tried it. Give these people power to choose their candidate, let people meet on the ballot. In many cases, you will even find a good leader which has been vetted by the political party being the automatic leader. It's only 5 years. I mean, I haven't been for 3 years. I have died.
No.
You understand? You know, life is good. Life is good, Jeff. And my brother, I never took ODM to court and demanded money. I wish they could refund me my money that I paid them. And I wish they could refund me my money that I used to campaign.
Yes.
But I took them to court because they declared me a winner. No, they never declared me a winner. They declared a wrong person the winner. But I've forgiven them.
Okay.
You know,
Let's take a break on that forgiving note. We'll be back after the break with plenty more. Of course, tweet us at K24 TV. Even as we go into the break, we've just gotten some information concerning an accident involving 4 buses along the Muthaiga exit as of now. So if you're coming through that particular area, there's been an accident as you get to the exit on Muthaiga. A 4-bus accident right there. I believe it's on your screens as we speak. Really grisly as of now. We don't have any report as far as the casualties are concerned there, but as you get them, you'll be the first to know right here on TV. So again, the picture on your screen, an accident along Muthaiga involving 4 buses. As you get more information, you'll be the first to know right here. We take a break. Back on the other side, talking about the Ministry of Education wanting to downsize the number of universities, and also Nairobi County seems like it's under cartel capture, so the governor says. We talk about that after the break.